Hello, everyone. So I'm here with Juliana Rabi, and she is, did I say your last name right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
She's a CV expert and career consultant, and she helps people land their dream jobs, and if they're moving to different countries, get jobs in new countries and start their career from scratch. And she specializes in CVs and making your CV shine to recruiters and to clients, and to get your LinkedIn also. She's the one who taught me everything I know about LinkedIn.
She's a very smart student, as you can see. So she learned everything and more. She's teaching me stuff now, right?
So we have some questions that I asked to get from you guys, and we're going to talk a little bit about how to create the best CV for a freelancer. So basically, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit more?
Yeah, I've been working as a recruiter for 13 years for different sectors and kind of companies. I have a psychology degree, so pretty much what I do all day is review curriculum and LinkedIn profiles and interview people and talk to clients. So that's pretty much what I do all the time. So it's good to help and share a bit from the other side of the story of who is going to receive the curriculum and evaluate it and make a decision, because it's all very fast. So probably the person will spend 20, 30 seconds maximum in your curriculum. It's not fair at all, but it is what it is. So in those few seconds, you need to make sure you stand out. Yeah.
Cool. So, sorry, there's my cat trying to get into me. So we have some questions, some specific questions, but first I thought we could just go general. Do you have any advice for freelancers who are creating their CV that they want to send to clients, I guess agency clients?
Mm-hmm. I would say, sorry to disappoint maybe some of you, but a curriculum or a resume, it is what it is. It doesn't matter if you are applying for a corporate job, if you are sending it to an agency, if you're a freelancer or not, because there are some things that should be there and some things that should not be there. It doesn't matter which kind of professional you are, and doesn't matter for which kind of company you are. Of course, the content of your curriculum, you're going to adjust to your situation, your background, the kind of positions you want to get. But the format, the content, some things we can talk about it, but it doesn't apply only for freelancers. Mm-hmm. But let's try to make it a bit more specific. But there are general rules, let's say like that you should follow.
Okay, cool. So we have some specific questions that I asked my network of freelancers what they wanted, what information they wanted from you. So our first question is, in Germany we have a school system where you study a special course, but there are also many different jobs that you can get an apprenticeship for, and it's not exactly equivalent to a lot of other educational systems. So there you would go for 3 years, 2 times a week to school, and the rest you'd go work at your company. So it's kind of work placement instead of the traditional bachelor route. How do I write my educational experience, which has no equivalent in English, in the right way?
Yeah, that's a complicated question, because even in the European Union, there are different ways to name the same study, the same background. And if you go outside of Europe, that's even more complicated. Mm-hmm. So sometimes there is no equivalent, and we need to play with that. It is what it is. So first of all, try to find the equivalent, if there is a similar name. Maybe it won't be exactly the same, but a similar one, so go for that. Think about who is going to read your curriculum, your resume, and speak in that language. Mm-hmm. Maybe in your country it has a different name, but if you know that in that country or in that company they normally call it a different way, go for that. So speak the language that the person will understand.
Okay, so for example, for this I would say equivalent to a bachelor degree, or?
You could say bachelor degree, which is not exactly that. So use 1 or 2 lines of your CV to explain what you did. So 6 months internship in this company, doing this, main subjects that you study. So you can give some further information, and whoever reads will understand, our bachelor degree is not the same, but I see he did some practice, he studied this and that. So explain, dedicate 2 or 3 lines to give a bit more detail. So whoever is reading might not be familiar with the title of the course, but we will understand what you did and the main subjects.
And do you recommend doing that with an asterisk and then putting a footnote, or explaining it right there where you say education?
I would explain right there. Yeah, 2 or 3 lines maximum. So it should be short and sweet, but put it together. Otherwise it can be more confusing. Just put it there in the education part.
Okay. Next question. Should I put samples of my work in my CV?
If the person mentioned like some lines that she translated or part of the content, I don't think so. You can do a portfolio apart from your curriculum and show not only a part, but you can show a full translation, a full text they wrote, for example. But curriculum is not for that. Curriculum is kind of a timeline of your experience, your achievements. That's another thing that I want to stress. A lot of people don't mention achievements on the curriculum. They just make it super, just description of what they have done, like a job description of a position. They just list the things they have done, but you can go much further than that. You can show the achievements, the results, where you made the difference, where people praised you for the job, where you represent the company, where you really marked the difference. So that's more important than samples of your work, because if you catch the attention of the agents, of whoever is reading that, the person will want to talk to you, we want to interview you, and that's the main target. We want people to be interested in your profile.
And ask you for your portfolio, ask you for samples after this.
Because if you write a long text, if you write like a book, nobody will read it. So you're going to lose your time and your opportunity. So it should be short. It's like when you're fishing, you just give a little taste of that. The person is interested and the person want to talk to you, want to see you in person. That's the final goal of a curriculum. Be face to face with whoever is going to hire you, or on the phone or on a Skype call, whatever. And if you go too long, if you mention a lot of samples of your work there, it might be too long. And although the content could be good, nobody will read it. So I would say stick to the jobs you have done, your work history, your achievements, your studies, your personal details. That's super important. I still receive curriculum without phone number. I know it's a mistake, but it can cost you the job. Like, instead of sending an email, I just call the other person that has the phone number. So those details count. And parallel to that, you can do a portfolio, a sample of your experience, and send it as a separate document.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the next question, should your CV be different just if you're applying to an agency just as a translator, or if you're applying for a specific project?
As I mentioned at the beginning, some things should be always there in any curriculum, and some things might vary. So you can tailor your curriculum, adjust it a little bit to that specific position that you're applying. That helps, and that makes it look more like a fit. It's like, okay, it has exactly what I'm looking for. Even the words are the same. So that requires more time from you, but I think it's worth it, especially if it's an agent that you really want to work with, or a client that is like your dream client. So it's worth it to dedicate some minutes to tailor it. So you could have like a master curriculum, a general one that is already organized, there's no typos, the dates are correct, all of that, have it there, but then you adjust a little bit according to that specific agents or client that you want to do. And you can use the information if they post an offer, or if you see the advert or whatever, get some words from that, the skills they're looking for, the experience. So exactly. So use that, but be smart, because if you just copy and paste, the automatic system that do the screening, they will identify, and it's like they will reject your curriculum because it's going to be clear that it was copy and paste. So just be smart, get the piece of information that of course you have experience, because maybe in your master curriculum, the basic one you did, you didn't mention that specific thing, but if they are looking for that, just put more emphasis on it, and maybe remove something that you mentioned that they are not looking for. So tailor a little bit the curriculum. So my answer would be, you should have one that is general one that you can use, but if it's a client that you really want to work, you might dedicate some more.
To the project. Okay, next question. What order how should you order the information on your CV? Education first or experience first?
Okay, let's start with the basic. Contact details at the top. Some people put it at the end. If it's 2 pages, if somebody printed, we might lose the second page, so let's just make it very obvious. Contact details, phone, email, full name, nationality. Sometimes that's important because of the visa or payment or whatever. Time zone also, so mention the nationality. That's the first thing. Second thing should come summary of your experience, your studies, your background, your main clients, your main activities.
How long should the summary be?
I don't know, you can put like 10 lines.
10 lines.
Yeah, it's a very important thing because it's really in the high part of the curriculum, and I can assure that the client will read that part. The person might not read the last part of the curriculum, the second part, so just make sure the summary, you dedicate some time, let's say 1/4 part of the page. Okay? After that, there comes the situation that you need to choose. If you have studies related to the job you're applying for, or studies related to the sector that the client is, for example, if it's a translator job and you studied translation, if you have that study, make sure you mention it there right after the summary because it gives you credibility. The client will like to know that you have that. If you have experience as a translator but you never really studied it, I would say mention first all your work experience to show credibility, to show I know what I'm talking about, and at the end, after the experience, you mention the studies because it won't be the translation study. So put it up, whatever you want to give more
whatever's
emphasis
most
to.
relevant.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
makes sense. Okay, where can I find the best sample CVs? I feel like maybe that's a hard question to answer for a specific.
Yeah, I mean, on Google, look at that. On Google, you can find sample CVs, and I would say check them out. We don't need to create the wheel, right, and invent everything from scratch. So you can get some ideas. Just Google them. I do that from time to time because also the job titles change. So that's the thing also. So sometimes I'm looking for the right term to say, or the person is coming from another country, I want to adjust to that. So I also search for samples. But don't just use them exactly the way they are because they won't connect with you. And it's going to show. If you just copy and paste, it's going to show. But you can get ideas on Google. Just put the job title.
Sample
CVs,
totally.
And adjust. So get the structure maybe, get some phrases. But I would always say add your personal experience. The difference that you made in that company, your achievements and all of that. So samples in Google, pretty much. Yeah.
Cool. What is the number of pages recommended? Mine is 3 pages and is mostly for US clients.
Number of pages. That's a bit personal reply. Or the recruiters, some people will say stick to 1 page. If you're not able to put your experience in 1 page, it means you can't, express yourself well and all of that. So some people are more extreme about it. Other people would say use as much as you need because it's better to add information than to miss it. I would say something in the between. Okay. 1 page, it's really hard. I do see this, but I think I have never done one that is only 1 page. It's really difficult. 2 pages, it's the ideal situation, but if it goes for 3 pages, it's also okay. I wouldn't go further than 3, so let's say between 1 and 3. If it makes sense, if you have relevant information, don't just add stuff just for like hobbies, like language that you speak in a basic level. It won't add any information or describe in all the details that job. No, summarize. Or that job you did when you left the university 15 years ago. No, stick to 10 years maximum. So if it is relevant information, if everything that is there is worthy, 3 pages are okay. Otherwise, just go shorter.
Cool. Are there any important differences between CVs in Spanish and in English? I guess other than the language.
Other than the language, yeah. What I see is that CVs in Spanish, they tend to be a little bit longer than the ones I see in the UK or in the US. So the length of the curriculum and the photo. So normally in Spain, you still see people adding photo on the CV. But
photos like a headshot.
Yeah, like a headshot, headshot. But more and more, the photo thing is not used. Some countries like Ireland, UK, the US, it's even forbidden. And now with the data protection, I would say better not to add photo.
Even if you're sending it to an agency in Spain.
Yeah, even. I wouldn't go for the photo for 2 reasons. If the photo is not good, it won't help you at all. If the quality is not good, so it might work against you. That's the first thing. And the second thing, I want to bring another topic, LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, it's another story. There you should add your photo because a LinkedIn profile without photo is very suspicious and nobody will contact with you. So you have another place to put the photo, a place that is accepted and people value the photo. So just keep that nice photo for your LinkedIn profile, and again use the space in your CV because it's reduced, it's limited to add relevant content.
Yeah, because we were having a conversation before we started recording and you were talking about how the CV is initial point of contact, and if they like you, they're gonna go check out your LinkedIn profile anyway.
Yeah.
So if you want to add all the pretty stuff, which we're gonna get to a question about that at the end,
do that on
in
LinkedIn,
your LinkedIn profile,
or the other way
right?
around. So maybe the agents or the client will find you on LinkedIn. That's going to be the first contact, the way they find you. But because they have an internal process, they need to put your information through the system for the payment, for example, for the invoice, for whatever. So they're going to ask for your curriculum. So those two things, they will probably meet at some point of the process. They might find you because you applied for the offer, you send your curriculum, but then they're going to check you on LinkedIn or the other way around. So the fancy things, leave them for LinkedIn because it's the perfect place to do it. And that's where we expect to see that. Curriculum, stick to the boring thing, let's say. Go more for the content, the information, and less for fancy, design and colors and graphics. Emojis. Yeah, that is for LinkedIn. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Okay, so we've answering these questions already. The feedback for photos and CVs. Mm-hmm. How do you overcome the hurdle of changing professions or your career direction? So if you have lots of experience in a field that's not related to the one that you're applying for.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
This is what you're an expert on as well.
Yeah, but that's still tough.
Yeah.
It's still tough. So if you change jobs a lot and if you work in areas that are completely unrelated to your current job, there are a few options. So you can not mention this experience. You can skip that part and put emphasis in other things. You can mention that briefly, just the job title that you had, the dates, and put the emphasis in the things that you learned, the achievements or the skills that you developed, because then you're putting the emphasis on the positive side of the story.
Yeah.
Okay, it was totally unrelated. I worked in a shop before, but I learned how to communicate with people. Some
transferable skills.
Exactly, transferable skills. That's exactly the term. So you can put emphasis on it. You can be short on the description, so don't waste 5-7 lines describing something that is not relevant. Or you can put them even at the back of the curriculum, so you put more emphasis and more space, actually more details on the previous experience related to the one you want to apply for. And at the end, you can put other jobs and you just list them at the end. So it kind of covers the gap. People will understand, oh, it's not that you were not working for 2 years, you worked in another thing. But you already showed and spoke more in details about the experience that is related to what you want.
Okay, cool. So this we've already covered this question a little bit, but the question is, what's your opinion about visually exciting CVs? We have an example here, but I can't show it to you because it's somebody's CV.
Yeah.
That doesn't have my permission.
It's very fancy, colorful, with graphics.
It's a nice CV, but there's a lot of little graphs, there's a lot of icons to describe things.
2 columns, photo.
It's very image heavy. Mm-hmm. And very colorful.
Yeah, what is my opinion? It looks nice, it's pretty to see, but here we shouldn't be superficial and we should go for something that works. So if you are going to apply through a website for an agent, for example, probably there will be some kind of robot doing the initial pre-screening of this curriculum. So if there are 100 people applying for that job, whoever is going to check the CVs won't read 100 curriculum because nobody has time for that. So when you search on the system, you put, for example, I don't know, content creator, English, Barcelona, for example. The computer in 3-5 seconds will screen out of all those 100 curriculums and it's going to show you 10. So how does it go from 100 to 10? Keywords, time of experience, a lot of things, but it's automatic. So the computer, this applicant tracking system, probably won't read graphics, different colors, columns on your curriculum, photos. That might not. Some systems, they are more sensitive to those things than others, but we don't know.
Yeah.
So as a candidate, as somebody applying for a job, you don't want to risk a super fancy, nice looking curriculum that will never get.
That the system can't even read it.
Exactly. So it's going to be rejected before someone reads that. So they look nice, but I would say stick to the boring. I mentioned that already. And content. Because if you have a Word curriculum, no PDF, no other formats, no image, but content. For sure, this is going to pass this automatic robot that does the pre-screening, and then it goes to the person who needs to read your curriculum. And as we said, if the person liked the content, The person is going to check your LinkedIn, and there you can put all the fancy stuff, photos, links to your work. There was another question. Yeah, your portfolio. So LinkedIn has a space for all of that. Curriculum doesn't. So go for what is safer and what's going to move you in the process. At the end of the day, you want to talk to the person who's going to hire you, to your client, to the one that is doing the initial interview. Mm-hmm. That's what you want. So if the CV looks amazing, but it won't pass this initial screening, that's not the point. If you're going to send it via email, you can send the fancy, colorful one. That's okay. You're going to send directly to the potential client, to the owner of the agents, then that's okay. Via email. But
if you're uploading it onto a server,
it's risky.
You do not.
It's risky. Yeah.
Okay, that's all the questions that I had got from the group. Do you have anything to add?
Personally, I like LinkedIn more because I think you can do more stuff. But in any process that you're doing, the curriculum is still important. So it's always better to have it updated, to have it done. The best way to do it is to review it every 6 months, because if you're working in a project and then you did something, you have a nice achievement, you did a different project, while it's still fresh in your head, go there and add one line about it. So you always have it updated, and you never know if a new client will say, oh, can you send me your curriculum? And if you don't have it, you might lose the client because you don't have the time to update it at that moment. So every few months, just review it and add one line. So it's easy and it's ready, and you combine that with your LinkedIn. Also, the information should be aligned. You mention something in your LinkedIn and your curriculum is totally different. The dates are not matching. The client's name are not matching. That's not good.
Yeah.
So wherever you update this one line in your curriculum, make sure you go on LinkedIn and you update that. Sure.
Okay.
So
Juliana is specialist LinkedIn. Again, I recently wrote a post as well about updating my LinkedIn and
amazing post. Amazing content, by the way.
Everything I learned from her. So she helps people. If you feel overwhelmed about your LinkedIn, you say, I don't even know where to start. She will help you put your LinkedIn in order, and she will also help you write your CV. This is a service that she offers. She's amazing. So thank you for joining us. And if they want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
I have my website, Juliana Rabbi, Rabbi. So you can contact me through there.
I'll put the type
thank
in.
you.
Yeah, okay. So through her website. And that's all. Thank you for joining us today and watching this video, and thank you for being here.